Bonsoir tout le monde. Tonight we're going to be talking about the relative pronouns qui and que. These pronouns replace a person or a thing in a sentence to join two short sentences and make a longer one. Now you remember qui is a question word, it means who. And it still means who here, although it can also mean which, it can mean that. Qui is going to become the subject of the clause that it introduces. So therefore, it will be followed by a verb. So remember, qui before a verb. Let's take a look. Je parle à un employé. I'm speaking to an employee. Il travaille à la poste. He works at the post office. I'm going to use qui to replace this pronoun il, the subject pronoun, and to combine my two sentences. Je parle à un employé qui travaille à la poste. I'm speaking to an employee who works at the post office. Remember, qui and then a verb. Ma sœur a lu la lettre. My sister read the letter. Elle est sur la table. It is on the table. Here, the pronoun elle is replacing la lettre. Remember, we can do this with il and elle. We can use them to replace masculine and feminine nouns and to mean it. So my sister read the letter. It is on the table. We're going to replace elle now with qui. Ma sœur a lu la lettre qui est sur la table. My sister read the letter that is on the table. I'll give you a minute to write that down. Okay. Que is also going to refer to people or things, and it is also going to be used to join two short sentences into a longer one. However, que is going to be the direct object of the clause it introduces. That means it's going to be followed by a subject noun. Not just a noun, a subject noun. And it can get a little tricky when we have those indirect object pronouns because some of them look like subject nouns. So this is where it's really important that when you read your sentences, you understand what they mean and what you want to say. Okay, so we can't just say, well, qui before a verb, que before a noun. You've got to read everything and understand what it says. So let's take a look. Je parle à un employé, speaking to an employee. Vous connaissez cet employé. You know this employee. So I'm going to use que here to join these sentences. I'm going to replace cet employé, this employee, with que. I'm speaking to an employee that you know. Okay, this one's a little trickier. So, que is being followed by the subject pronoun in the second sentence, or the second clause in this longer sentence. Let's look at another one. Vous avez ouvert le colis. You opened the package. Le facteur l'a apporté. The mailman brought it to you, or brought it. So now we're going to replace it with que, and we're going to say you opened the package that the mailman brought. Vous avez ouvert le colis que le facteur a apporté. That pronoun right there, the le l'apostrophe, is being replaced by the que. Okay? The subject of the second sentence is coming right after the que in this clause. Take a moment to write those down. Okay. Je touche le chèque. I'm cashing the check. Il était dans mon porte-monnaie. It is in my wallet. We want to combine these two sentences using either qui or que. How are you going to do that? I'm cashing the check that is in my wallet. Can you guess? Well, let's take a look. If you use qui, you're going to replace the subject of the second sentence, il, and then follow it with the verb, était. I'm cashing the check that was in my wallet. try another one. Robert a lu ce livre. Robert read this book. Tu connais ce livre. You know this book. So we want to say Robert read this book that you know. We're going to replace ce livre with que. Robert a lu ce livre que tu connais. Now, how do you know, Madame Mayo? That's what you're thinking. Madame Mayo, how do I know if I'm using qui or que? Well, let's look at this. Ce livre is in the second sentence. It's also in the first sentence. Robert read this book. You know this book. I wouldn't say Robert read this book. Who you know this book? No, I'm going to replace this book and say Robert read this book that you know. Again, I have to understand what it means. Tu achètes un billet. You are buying a ticket. Le billet est très cher. The ticket is very expensive. Okay. So here I have un billet, and here I have le billet. I want to replace that second billet. I'm going to say you are buying a ticket. That is very expensive. I'm going to use qui. Tu achètes un billet qui est très cher. You're buying a ticket. That is very expensive. Go ahead and write those down. All right, let's try another one. Nous voyons la factrice. We see the mail lady. Elle a un grand colis pour nous. She has a big package for us. How am I going to join these two? We see the mail lady who has a big package for us. I think that will make sense. We're going to use qui, and we're going to replace elle with qui. Nous voyons la factrice qui a un grand colis pour nous. Okay, write that down. And if you have to, if it helps, you can underline the words that you're replacing as well as the relative pronouns so that you can see what's happening here. Okay. If we look at the last one here, Sandrine va chez le médecin, vous le recommandez. Sandrine va chez le médecin, que vous recommandez. Okay, so que is being followed by a subject noun, vous. Okay, que is followed by a subject noun. We're going to talk more about the tricky situations we can find ourselves in when we have indirect object pronouns in class tomorrow. Remember, you can always rewind this if I went a little too fast for you and catch up on the notes. All right. Bonne soirée. À demain.